Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're tackling count binary substrings. It's a classic string manipulation problem that looks tricky at first glance, but the solution is actually super satisfying once you see the pattern. Let's break it down together. So what are we actually looking for here? We are given a binary string, meaning it only contains zeros and ones. Our goal is to count how many valid substrings exist. A valid substring needs two things. First, it must have an equal number of zeros and ones. Second, and this is the key part, all the zeros must be grouped together, and all the ones must be grouped together. Let's clarify this definition because it's where most people get tripped up. Look at the valid examples. Notice how all the zeros are on one side and all the ones are on the other? That's what we mean by grouped consecutively. Now look at the invalid ones. 0, 1, 0, 1 has two zeros and two ones, which is equal, but they are mixed up, not grouped. So that doesn't count. We need a solid block of one number followed immediately by a solid block of the other number. Let's take the string 00110011. We can find 6 valid substrings here. We have the big chunk 0011 at the start. Inside that, right in the middle, we have a smaller 01. Then as we move along we hit 1100, and inside that, a 10. It's almost like we are looking for boundaries where the numbers flip, and expanding outwards from there. Just a quick heads up. We'll be walking through the solution using Python logic, but the concepts apply everywhere. If you're looking for the full code in Java, C++, or JavaScript, I've put those slides right at the very end of the video so you can skip there if you need to. This brings us to our first approach. Instead of dealing with the raw string of zeros and ones, what if we just counted the lengths of consecutive blocks? For example, if we have 2 ones, then 3 zeros, then 4 ones, we can just write that down as a list, 2, 3, 4. Why is this helpful? Well, if you have a block of 2 ones next to a block of 3 zeros, you can make exactly 2 valid pairs, 1 0 and 1 1 0 0. The number of valid substrings you can form between 2 adjacent blocks is simply the minimum length of the 2 blocks. Before we jump into the code, I want to quickly address why this channel looks and sounds the way it does. You can probably tell this is narrated by AI. I actually built this workflow for myself so I could generate clear, instant explanations the moment a daily problem drops. It helps me study faster, and I upload them here in case they help you too. Also, you'll notice there are no ads on this video and no sponsorships. That's a choice. I want this to be a distraction-free zone for us to just focus on the code. That same philosophy applies to the tools I build. I needed a way to track my daily coding streak, but everything else was paid or full of ads. So I built my daily to-do. It's completely free, it has 0 ads, and I don't make a cent from it. It's just the tool I use to ensure I show up every single day. If you want to use it too, the link is in the description. Now let's get back to the solution. Here is the full Python code for this grouping approach. We start by initializing our groups list. Then we iterate through the string to populate that list. Finally, we loop through the groups to calculate the answer. Let's break this down into smaller chunks to see exactly what's happening. First, we build our groups array. We start with a list containing a single 1, representing the first character we've seen. Then we start looping from the second character. We check, is this character different from the one before it? If yes, that means a new block has started, so we append a new one to our list. If it's the same, we just increment the last number in our list, because the current block is getting longer. Once we have our list of group lengths, the hard work is done. We create an answer variable starting at 0. Then, we loop through our groups. For every pair of adjacent groups, say, group I-1 and group I, we take the smaller of the 2 values. We add that minimum value to our answer. This works because the number of valid balanced substrings between 2 blocks is always limited by the smaller block. Let's visualize the grouping process with a dry run. Imagine our input is 0 0 1 1 1 0 0. We start with a group of 1. At index 1, we see another 0. It matches, so our group grows to 2. At index 2, we hit a 1. That's different. So we start a new group. We keep seeing 1s until index 5, where we hit a 0 again, triggering another new group. By the end, we have a list. 2, 3, 2. Then we'd compare 2 and 3 to get 2, and compare 3 and 2 to get 2, for a total of 4. Now you might notice something. In the first approach, we stored every group length in a list, but we only ever compared neighbors. We compared group 1 with group 2, then group 2 with group 3. We never looked back at group 1 again. This means we don't need to save the whole list. We only need to remember the length of the previous block and the length of the current block we are counting. This saves us memory. Here is the code for the linear scan. It looks very similar, but notice we don't have a list anymore. We have ands, previous, and cur. We iterate through the string just like before. Let's zoom in on the logic inside the loop. Inside the loop, we check for a character change. If the character changes, say from 0 to 1, it means our current block of zeros is finished. We immediately calculate the valid substrings between the previous block and this just finished cur block by taking the minimum. Then, we shift our window. The cur block becomes the new previous block, and we reset cur to 1 to start counting the new character. If the character doesn't change, we just increment cur. Let's run 00111 through this. We start with cur equals 1. At index 1, we see another 0, so cur becomes 2. At index 2, it switches to 1. A switch. We calculate min, previous cur, which is min, 0, 2, so 0. We update previous to 2, and cur resets to 1. We continue counting the ones until the loop ends. Crucially, after the loop finishes, we have one last pair to process, the previous block of zeros, and the final cur block of ones. We add min, 2, 3, to get our final answer of 2. So how does this perform? The time complexity is big O of n, where n is the length of the string. We simply walk through the string once, doing constant work at each step. For space complexity, this second approach is big O of 1, or constant space, because we aren't creating any arrays that grow with the input size. We just have a few integers, tracking our counts. This is an improvement over the first approach, which used O of n space. Alright, that covers the Python solution. As promised, here are the full solutions for Java, C++, and JavaScript. I won't be breaking these down, so just pause the video on your language of choice to check it out. Here is the full solution in Java. Feel free to pause here. Next up, here is the C++ version. Pause if you need it. And finally, here is the solution in JavaScript. So let's wrap it up. We learned that this scary-looking string problem is really just about counting groups. We figured out that the number of valid substrings between two groups is determined by the smaller group. And finally, we optimized our solution to use constant space by realizing we only need to remember the immediate past. If you're looking for even more Leetcode problems beyond the daily challenge, I've started a second channel called Leetcode Unlocked. Check it out via the link in the description. Hope this breakdown helped. If it did, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. I upload these daily, so subscribe if you want to keep your streak alive. Also, I've put links to the tablet I use for planning solutions in the description if you're interested. Keep coding, and I'll catch you in the next one.